Yo, what's going on? It's your boy, Mr. Locario, the bad boy of the dating game. What's good? So I got a question from one of my subscribers, and he says, why do women act as if they're not interested in sex when they really are? All right. So the thing is, when it comes to women and sex, and the reason why some women will act like they don't like it or they don't want it or it's not that important, they're not interested in it or whatever, is because, one of the reasons is, pressure from society. Women are, it's almost like the schizophrenic thing. Like, they want it, but then they don't want it. They want it, but then they don't want it. And the reason why is because it's kind of like, women are shamed into, feeling bad for fucking. You understand? So it's kind of like these guys, and a lot of it has to do with guys out there. You keep this whole shit up where you're like, oh, she's a whore, she's a slut. This is why I tell guys not to really engage in that type of conversation, because you're making it harder for yourself, because you're going to be out there trying to get some sex, and then this girl that wants to do you is probably going to be second guessing herself because she doesn't want you to think she's a slut. So it's that pressure that will make her feel, like she doesn't, like that will make her actually not want to do it, and then it's going to seem as if she's not interested in it. You understand? Even though she is. And, so you have those situations where societal pressure is going to make the woman, not do it or seem like she doesn't want to do it, even though she does. You feel what I'm saying? Also, another reason why, women act like they're not interested in sex and everything is because a lot of times if you're talking to a girl or you're, interacting with a woman, that woman might she might like the attention you're giving her because it's making her feel good that a guy's giving her attention, but you might not necessarily be the type of guy who she wants to have sex with. Do you understand? So, even though she generally likes sex or whatever, you in particular might not be the guy she wants to do that type of stuff with. You understand? And she doesn't have that feeling for you where she's not really, emotionally connected to you in that sense. Because some girls, they want to actually, they want to have sex more because of that emotional connection or that bond they have with a particular guy. You understand? That doesn't have to necessarily be the case all the time, but it is sometimes. But if they're not feeling that for you, then it's, it's going to seem like they don't want to have sex, but it doesn't necessarily mean they don't want to have sex in general. It's just they might not want to have sex with you. Do you understand? Also, sometimes, like, let's say if you're having a conversation with a woman, let's say you're not necessarily trying to get with her, but, you get into conversations or debates with women who, even in the conversation, it will seem as if they are not into sex. You understand? And sometimes what happens is, again, it could be the societal pressure. She doesn't want to look like a slut in front of you or whatever. But also, sometimes women are speaking off of their emotion or how they feel when they recall different situations that had to do with them being approached to have sex and not necessarily wanting sex from those guys that approach them. So, for example, you might be having a debate or a discussion about dating or whatever with a couple girls or whoever it is. And, she's going to seem like, oh, well, why does everything got to be about sex? Or, she'll say stuff like, oh, all you guys do is think about sex and it's not that important. And why can't this and why can't that? So she's giving off that vibe that she's not into it. But what happens is that the reason why she's even saying that stuff is because she's thinking about all the guys who approached her who she didn't want to have sex with. Because you got to remember, on a consistent basis, most women are getting approached daily to for sex. You understand? And most of the guys that approach her, she's not going to be into them like that. You understand? She's not going to be wanting to do them. So then every time you mention this topic or something, she's going to be reminded of those situations. And then she's going to be talking or expressing her thoughts based off of those situations. So what it's going to seem like to you is that she doesn't like sex. You understand what I'm saying? Or she's not into sex that much. You know what I mean? It's the same way where, people talk about that whole, like you hear women say, oh, I get annoyed when guys approach me in the street and all this other stuff. It's like, no, you don't. You like when guys approach you. You like when guys holler at you. You just don't like when guys you don't like approach you and holler at you. Same thing with this situation where it may seem like the girl's not interested in sex or talking about sex, but it's like, no, it's not necessarily that. She's not interested in the guys that are approaching her or trying to get with her for sex. So she's not interested in those guys. Do you understand what I'm saying? But the reason why, I think it's good to, even bring this topic up of, why do chicks, act like they're not interested in sex when they really are, is because, you as a man, when you're dealing with girls, you need to know the difference, or you need to understand the fact that women really like sex. Do you understand what I'm saying? And understand that there's a difference between her not wanting sex from somebody she's not feeling and her actually, just generally overall not feeling sex. You understand? And a lot of women like sex. They like to fuck. They like to make the shit go down. So you as a man don't really necessarily think too much about her not liking it or liking it, because what's going to happen is that if you think too much about this and you actually think that, oh, well, generally women don't like sex and women don't like when guys approach them, women don't like this, women don't like that, it's going to stop you from being proactive to try to get girls. You understand what I'm saying? So then it's going to stop you because you're going to think, hey, why is this goddamn fire truck doing this while I'm trying to do this audio? Anyway, so you're going to be thinking, you know what? These girls don't like sex, so I'm just not going to bother and try to holler at them. She seems like the type of girl who's not going to be sexually free. She seems like the type of girl who's not going to like if I flirt with her or try to touch her while we're flirting or whatever. So you're going to get that in your head, and it's going to mess you up from dealing with girls. So, you don't really need to worry about that or think about that. You got to understand that you can be the guy who she's feeling. So you go up to her, you talk to her, you flirt with her, you try to make it happen, because then she's going to want to do that if you're the type of guy who she's feeling. Do you understand? So the thing is that when you have these questions and you dwell on them or you think about them too much, you start to mess yourself up in the game, because you're thinking of, all this other stuff that's going to stop you from proceeding to do what you should be doing, which is hollering at the girls and getting shit popping. You feel me? So that is all I wanted to say for today, guys. Make sure you click the link below if you need to send me a question. I will do a audio/video about it. Also, if make sure you get my free ebook. Click the link under that to get my free ebook, The Magnificent 10 Crucial Dating Tips for Men. Also, make sure you click the link under that one to go to badboymembership.com, where you get 45 through 90-minute dating advice tutorials, step-by-step shit that will help you attract, date, and have sex with hot chicks. You feel me? So that is it, guys. I'm out of here. Remember, the truth is inside you. Peace. I'm gone. Hey, what's up? It's dating and life coach Mr. Locario. Go to badboymembership.com and master the dating game by joining my Bad Boy Membership program. In this program, you'll receive 45 through 90-minute, easy-to-follow, step-by-step dating advice tutorials that's guaranteed to help you attract, date, and have sex with beautiful women. Join the Bad Boy Membership today by going to badboymembership.com. That's badboymembership.com.